Hello, and welcome back to my channel, Finally Relax. If you've been wondering lately why so many young people, especially Gen Z, feel so overwhelmed, anxious, and stressed, you're in the right place. This is a topic very close to my heart because it affects so many of us. Today, we're diving deep into the unrevealed truths and unique stressors shaping this generation, and why they're often called the most anxious generation. Get ready for some truly insightful perspectives, based not just on research, but on what I personally observe and feel. Let's start directly with the most obvious point, yet one that's often underestimated: the digital tsunami. Gen Z is the first generation to grow up entirely in the age of the internet and social media. Imagine, you're constantly online, always connected. This means uninterrupted comparison with others, a feeling of constantly having to keep up, and the fear of missing out, FOMO. Your brain is always on, there are hardly any real breaks. Your sense of self-worth is often measured by likes and followers, not by intrinsic values or genuine achievements. This constant flood of information and expectations creates unprecedented pressure, leading directly to increased stress and anxiety. It's like a never-ending marathon where you never reach the finish line. Next is a point that affects all of us, but hits Gen Z particularly hard. They are growing up in a world in perpetual crisis. Think about climate change, a global pandemic, economic recessions, wars, and social inequality constantly in the news. For this generation, these aren't just headlines, they're their reality. They see an uncertain future ahead, marked by threats that often feel uncontrollable. This feeling of helplessness and future anxiety is a massive stressor. It's like they have to build on a shaky foundation, while the ground beneath them constantly trembles. This naturally profoundly impacts their mental health. Let's move to point 3, the performance trap. From school to university to work, the expectations placed on Gen Z are often immensely high. They don't just need good grades, they also need extracurricular activities, internships, and to build a network while still studying. Add to that the pressure to present themselves perfectly on social media. It's as if they constantly have to be a perfect version of themselves in every area of their lives. Every failure feels like a disaster, and the fear of not being good enough is omnipresent. This unrelenting pressure to perform leaves little room for mistakes, relaxation, or simply being. It fuels deep insecurity and the fear of not meeting expectations. The fourth point might seem paradoxical: loneliness in a crowd. Although Gen Z is digitally well connected, many experience increasing social isolation and loneliness. Interactions are often superficial and screen-based, making genuine, deep connections difficult. Real face-to-face contact becomes rarer, and the ability to read and give true social cues can atrophy. This leads to a lack of genuine belonging and support, which are so crucial for mental health. It's a lonely existence in a hyper-connected world, which only intensifies anxiety and feelings of isolation. We are social beings, and when this fundamental human need isn't met, we suffer. And finally, the fifth crucial point: overstimulation and burnout. Due to all these factors, digital pressure, global uncertainty, high expectations, social isolation, Gen Z is constantly exposed to sensory overload. Their nervous system is in perpetual alarm mode. Sleep disturbances, concentration problems, and physical symptoms are often the result. Many feel burnt out and empty at a young age, even before truly starting their professional lives. This isn't a lack of resilience, but a reaction to a system that is permanently overwhelming. It's a vicious cycle that's hard to break without a deeper understanding of the causes. For our sixth point, let's consider the lack of traditional coping strategies. Many older generations learned to relieve stress through analog activities like sports, gardening, reading, making music, or simply being in nature. For Gen Z, these outlets have often receded into the background or are replaced by digital alternatives that don't always have the same calming effect. If the smartphone is the first go-to for boredom or stress, it becomes difficult to truly ground oneself and switch off. The ability to be offline and self-regulate is crucial, but it's hampered by constant digital presence. This means they often have fewer practical tools to deal with the aforementioned pressures, which further exacerbates anxiety. Let's move to point 7, the role of education and awareness. While mental health awareness is higher among Gen Z than ever before, there are still significant gaps in teaching practical coping strategies and fostering emotional intelligence in schools and homes. Often, there's a lack of framework to not only recognize mental distress, but also to deal with it effectively. If you haven't learned to name your feelings, recognize stress, or set healthy boundaries, you're left vulnerable to external influences. It's not just about talking about problems, but also about being equipped with tools to overcome these challenges. Improved education could make a huge difference and strengthen this generation's resilience. Our final point, but no less important, is the always-on mindset. The expectation of being constantly available and productive blurs the lines between work, study, and leisure. With remote work and flexible models, which often start during university, there's no clear end to the workday. Emails trickle in during the evening, messages on Slack or Discord arrive on weekends. This leads to constant mental strain, as the brain can never truly switch off. This lack of clear boundaries and permanent availability prevents true recovery and is a huge obstacle to mental health. It's an exhausting hamster wheel that many young people can hardly escape without feeling like they're missing out or not performing enough. Today, we've taken a deep dive into the complex reasons why Gen Z is perceived as the most anxious generation. It's a combination of digital pressure, global uncertainty, extremely high expectations, loneliness, overstimulation, a lack of traditional coping strategies, insufficient education, and the always-on mindset. But most importantly, you are not alone. These insights are meant to help you understand what's truly going on and hopefully provide a sense of validation. I firmly believe that through this understanding, we can find new ways to better manage these challenges. It's not about changing the world, but about how we navigate it. Which of these points resonated with you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Your experiences are incredibly valuable to our community. If you want to find more clarity and calm in your life and learn how to better manage stress and anxiety, then hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Until next time, remember, you have the power to finally relax.